So Google actually tells you how to get the best outputs with Nano Banana Pro. So we're actually going to be deep diving into this article they released on their X account. This will be linked down below if you just want to kind of glance over it or look at it more deeply. But we're going to be doing that today, and they actually give us 10 tips. So, I mean, the first thing they mention is don't reroll. So stop making net new photos, instead just edit within the tab. And I'll show you that here very, very shortly. But the model is exceptionally good at understanding conversational edits. If an image is 80% correct, don't generate a new one from scratch. Instead, simply ask for the task to be changed. I think this is great for two reasons. Number one, obviously this decreases the bandwidth of Nano Banana Pro and Google itself, and ultimately this is going to actually help you save on more tokens. I think one thing I was always running into was I was creating, again, net new pictures, and you can run up tokens, you can run up credits really easily. So I use Higgs field specifically. But for instance, I was trying to make a master image on this supplement here. And one thing I did was, once I had this master image, I then came into here, and what I really wanted to do was, so this is the initial prompt. Look how specific this is. And as we go through the Google AI Studios article, this will make a lot more sense. But I reference, phone style. I reference the lens feel. I reference basically the positioning of the product. I reference the camera angles that will take place, the background. So it's all very, very specific. And so this is great, but again, so that's one thing, be very specific, very director feel to it, right? And then the one thing is, once this is produced, what I was always doing is creating so many net news. What I then started to do was actually just start instructing or editing the actual image. Okay, because this is actually less credits on my side. I use Higgs field. It could be different for other platforms, but I just found it a lot easier to create and edit actually within that photo. Because one thing as well you have to realize is that when these AI images generate, sometimes when you different prompt, the same prompt will get you different outputs. So if you have an image that you really like, it actually makes more sense to edit that current image than ask for net new, because sometimes that net new will not even be close to what you liked about this prior photo. So that's why it makes a lot more sense just to edit it. And now, for those reasons, they're now saying don't re-roll, just, within that same image, just edit it, because it's great at that anyways. Number two, natural language. We know this was kind of the future in full sentences. So talk to it just like a normal human being. Don't use kind of these vague lingo. Instead, be more specific, as you saw with the prompt I just showed you. So be specific and descriptive, obviously, as I showed you in those prompts. And like I said before, AI is really, really good. I think a lot of people underestimate actually how good AI is. But when it comes to prompting, that's kind of where you can either make or break a lot of stuff that you're using it for. So if you're you can never go wrong with more specificity. That kind of wins the game, right? So you have to be really specific of what you're looking for. Again, like in the prompt I showed you, lens, mood, environment, lighting, product description, product placement. If you're just using words like this, yeah, you're gonna think, AI it's not that great. AI is fantastic. It's just your prompting skills aren't where they need to be to really utilize and really get the most out of these type of models. As we move forward anyways, down in the future, I think eventually, vagueness will probably get you quite far, but the ones who stand out are going to be the ones that are very, very specific. This is another cool one, and I tend to see it in my own prompting, the context. So for instance, instead of just create an image, create this product, create this, create that, it's X for this thing, right? So create a sandwich for a Brazilian high-end gourmet cookbook. Create a product for for millionaires who are entrepreneurs. Very specific, and even you can use high-end, you can use luxurious, you can use those specific words that convey higher class, and you usually get more out of the model because the model then has to think, okay, that requires more taste, and they usually produce a better output. Then we have grounding with Google search. So another cool feature, it uses Google search to generate imagery based on real-time data, current events, and factual verification. So number one, obviously that reduces the hallucinations on timely topics. So it's not going to create something that's just completely far-fetched. It's rather going to be, pulling from real time. And you can obviously see that with, again, a lot of infographics. If it was like, if they were talking about history, if they're talking about geography, a lot of those things came into play because it is pulling from their, obviously their Google search engine. And then we have advanced editing. Again, tip number one was not to re-roll, not to keep spinning up net new, but instead edit. So we do have advanced editing, and now a lot of the time I'm just editing again the same image because it is that good at it. And we can keep on carrying on. We can even see here, like, look at that. That looks phenomenal. That looks phenomenal. Keeps blowing my mind how good this model actually is. Even we can even see here, turn the scene into wintertime. Like, that looks amazing. Dimensional translation, this was definitely cool. I don't use it as much, to be honest, but you can turn 2D into 3D. So as we can see here, basically it takes this whole thing and makes it 3D, which is very cool. So this is what I was also referring to up at the top. So quote the thing that you want to change, right, which they did kind of here. And then this is a big one I like to do, is keep the composition identical. So keep this image the exact same, but change X, right? So you can do change X and Y, but keep everything the same. If you don't, sometimes it actually does change your image, which we do not want, because it can actually be very hard to get back to that original asset. So as you can see here, they did just that, kept the whole image the same, and then just made this a 3D render. High resolution and textures, obviously it's supported for 1 and 4K, which is awesome. The 4K really, really does work. And then this is one of the big things as well, is complex logic. So again, it is a thinking model. So create a hyper-realistic infographic of a gourmet cheeseburger. Again, look at the specificity of the prompt. Deconstructed to show the texture of the toasted brioche bun, and all that good stuff. And so check this out. Like, this looks really cool. I know a lot of people were creating like bird's eye view boards of cars deconstructed, a lot of very nuanced mechanics deconstructed. It was really cool to see, and that's why, because it's a phenomenal model. Thinking and reasoning, so you can even do math on it. Visual reasoning, so it can really see, okay, it can take basically the environment, it analyzes it, it sees what this kind of it is looking at, just like a human would be, and you can kind of infer based on this logic how it would look prior or before, and that's kind of what it did here. And then one-shot storyboarding and concept art. This is really helpful, obviously, for directors, anyone kind of in the creative space. Really, really cool for it. And then, the last two here is structural control and layout guidance. So draft sketches, upload a hand-drawn sketch to define exactly where the text and object should sit. Obviously, now you do have that drawing option. Wireframes and grids as such here. Right. Very cool. And what's next? So again, they show you exactly how to get the best out of this model. Again, this will be linked down below. This is on their X account, and just start implementing a few tips at a time, and I'll see you tomorrow.